Hello everyone and welcome now to Game 2 in the series between Nerchio and Fraer. Game 2 taking place here on Daybreak, and Fraer opening up with the good luck have fun. I wouldn't be surprised if Nerchio doesn't respond with the good luck have fun, as perhaps he's a little bit on tilt after what happened in Game 1. Nerchio playing rather sloppy and messy in Game 1, and we'll see if he's going to be able to respond and really do some damage in Game 2. Nerchio's Baneling Bust attempt, all it really did was take down a Forge. It didn't even deal additional damage to a Gateway to perhaps slow or open up that hole just a little bit more. Banelings could easily have taken down or destroyed 2 buildings, since a Forge and a Gateway are so close in hit points. Alright, a probe now making its way around the map. It looks like Fraer will be going for that Forge. Fast expansion once more. He may be going for Nexus first again, as that is what we saw in Game 1. Now, will Nerchio go for an early spawning pool and then follow it up with a hatchery is going to be the next question. As Nerchio just mining away, really not indicating what he's doing just quite yet. Fraer in with the early scout will be taking a little bit of an economic hit, but can pretty much afford it, as he does get all the critical scouting information that he needs. Oh, the drones almost get a surround onto that probe. Beautifully done by Nerchio. Not getting off that final hit though, but Fraer now has to be perhaps a little careful. The drones are still dancing around here. The probe already back up to full shields pretty much, as the probe now trying to come back around and zap. 5-6 drones is all it's going to take to really take down that probe, and that probe cannot really expect to do much of anything. Fraer opting this time to go for a Forge first, so a Forge is now being warped in, and it will be followed up with a Nexus. He will be supply blocked for a little bit of time, and as he is supply blocked, perhaps Nerchio will be able to catch up in the economic game, as Fraer also comes in with a pylon block. So a pylon block here in Game 2. It looks like the probe now going to be heading over here to the, what would normally be the third base, the second expansion. And now the probe does have to be very careful, very low on hit points. Growing up to be a hatchery is that drone. And now the Zerglings are going to perhaps finish off this pylon here, indicating to the probe that he should simply be returning home. Photon cannon and gateways now being placed on the front door. Fraer looking for perhaps a little bit of a follow-up strategy, as Nerchio will be running up on 3 bases. Nerchio pretty much has let his opponent know that he is going to be playing defensively, and if he is playing defensively, Fraer can attempt to take an expansion down over here. So it is going to be a 3-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss, and so far Fraer is just continuing to spend money on his economy. There's not much more he can do there, but he is also trying to go into a double gas play in his main. Alright, one low hit point probe. Is it going to be able to get away? I don't believe so. A probe getting taken down by a Zergling, and now hanging around by the Zelnaga tower. Fraer so far is slightly behind in terms of economy, 23 compared to 22, but Fraer does have that all-important third base going for him. It is nearing completion, and now queens are being added onto the field to take care of and tend to those hatcheries. Drones already transferred down to the third base here. We'll see what natural defense and when these creep tumors will be placed down by Nerchio, as he needs to be able to get units in between these bases rather quickly. Nerchio still sitting on 39/44 supply. No real army, just 4 Zerglings and 2 queens, and he will be going up against perhaps some zealots, and upgraded zealots at that. Alright, let's take a look down over here. Overlords are still sitting in position. Both sides really not wanting to engage just quite yet. The Zerglings are looking to back off, knowing that they cannot engage against one lone zealot that easily, especially as the zealot has more hit points and deals a lot of damage as well. 16 per double hand slap essentially, and will be able to cut through those Zerglings, especially once that level 1 weapons upgrade has completed. Coming back around, Nerchio now getting up his 3rd queen. So 3 queens for Nerchio. Should be hitting those injects in just a moment, and we'll see where the rest of the energy will be spent, as perhaps he doesn't want to continue to inject, and perhaps should be starting to spread out some creep as well. Zergling trying to test the front door won't be able to do anything, and this is a pretty slow game. Both players are just trying to feel out each other, and it really feels like Nerchio is gonna benefit as he has a stronger economy. Already seen at 45 drones, with a lot more being trained, now up to 53 drones. And still 61-60 versus 50 over 60 here. Zerglings are going to be able to get back home in just a moment, but Nerchio wants to scout inside Fraer's base and figure out what the strategy will be. Fraer now also going into a Void Ray, and this is a good counter if his opponent was trying to go mass roaches off of 3 bases. As those Void Rays do deal a lot of damage, and without Glio Reconstitution, the Void Ray can keep up with a roach and shoot him down pretty much. Alright, we'll see what will be happening next. An Overlord is going to be spotted here. Fraer going to catch sight of it now in just a moment, and now take down that Overlord, dealing a good amount of damage very quickly. There it goes. Now, are they going to try and test that front door as well? There is a Queen and a Spine Crawler here. The Zealot absorbing, or the Zealot trying to engage in some damage as the Stalker is forced to retreat. Oh, this could be bad news for Zealot. Yes, it does get taken down, but the Void Ray is nearby, and the Void Ray should be able to keep up. No, unable to keep up, as the roaches are currently, or were on creep fighting. The Queen now looking to engage. Is it going to be enough as the Void Ray looks to back off again? Now we have double Void Rays in the air, and with 2 Void Rays, perhaps that is enough to take down a Queen. But now 2 Queens are also out, and perhaps we may see some transfusions. 1 Void Ray pretty much already down. Oh, 1 Queen does get taken down. The second Queen was not able to get off that transfusion. Not quite enough energy, as the Void Rays are nearby, and now simply gonna shoot all of these roaches essentially for free. As you can see, the damage is being racked up very quickly. Are they going to be able to get off any more shots here? There is also a Spore Crawler here. This Void Ray needs to back off, cannot engage when there is actual static defense. You never want to do that. You never want to give free damage onto your units. Down over here, Nerchio is going to be losing his scouting position at the 9 o'clock location, or sorry, the 3 o'clock location. Nerchio backing away with this Overlord Stalker, already pushed it back once more. We are going into the Twilight Council, getting in more Phoenixes and getting in a lot more gateways. So it should be heavy gateway production. We'll see if he goes into any Templar High or Dark Templar action as the Void Rays push back all of these Zerglings from the center portion of the map once more. Alright, Zerglings now trying to test the front door. Not going to be able to do much of anything as there is a large Protoss just death ball right there. Can't really call them a swarm. I guess a plethora of Protoss units. As we are sitting on 4 Phoenixes and 1 Void Ray, looking to continue the pressure that they've been able to put down. Now back over here. Actually, don't actually know what Nerchio's laughing about. Alright, top left-hand side of the map, Nerchio is expanding in order to get up on 4 bases, and he shouldn't really need to expand after that. Staying up on 4 bases, even for a Zerg player, you can run out of drones very easily. As we're going to see the Phoenixes now make their way in and now taking down a lot of these drones here. Drones are getting taken down, but unfortunately some of the Phoenixes lost their ability to fire as all of them were Graviton beaming. Okay, in come some Queens. Are the Queens going to get focused down here in just a second? There is a Graviton beam on a Queen. 1 Queen gets taken down, and now the Spore Crawler is up and operational, shooting down a Void Ray, getting 1 important kill as the Zergling is going to try and once again test that front door. Alright, looks like the front door will be cleaned up by Fraer, but Nerchio still sitting on a 31 supply advantage. Let's take a look at the overall harvester count. It is 56 to 73, a huge advantage for Nerchio, as he'll be able to run with a very large bank in just a moment and replenish those units very quickly. 5 Phoenixes now making their way off here to the 10 o'clock position, will quickly get spotted, and now with no Spore Crawler just quite yet, the Phoenixes are going to be able to run and play and take down multiple drones, trying to even things up with just a little bit more, but it looks like not much damage was dealt. Oh, fungal growth hitting off one of the observers. Will the observer be able to get away? No, it does not look like it. Down it goes. As we now see some force field. Zerglings, stalkers. Are the Phoenixes going to perhaps be able to graviton beam those infestors? As it looks like Nerchio is simply walking over Fraer with all of his units. Immortals, Zealots, Stalkers, pretty much not a match for this army, and it doesn't even have Broodlords at this, Broodlord or any air at this point, as the Infestors have been a very good source of damage. Alright, the Zerglings now making their way inside the main base. Fraer pretty much in trouble. I believe we'll be giving the GG here in just a moment. Zerglings dancing around were able to burrow just inside, and now it looks like Fraer has decided to just go back to work, as the Zerglings are going to regenerate some hit points and now make a way into the third base. Third base, Zerglings now backing away back into the second base. Back over here, we are seeing that the Zerglings are not engaging just quite yet. Zerglings now trying to test that front door. Will be able to do exactly that, but did not take down a very low hit point Immortal, down to 9 hit points, and that was a mistake as well, as Nerchio could have removed a lot of DPS from the Protoss army. Phoenix is still flying around. Nerchio still up by about 35, 45 supply. Zerglings hiding behind the mineral line here, waiting to unburrow, but a quick observer play quickly reveals all of those Zerglings, and those Zerglings will get taken down. Fraer still sitting at 140 over 158. Nerchio sitting at 178. We are going into Corruptors with Broodlord. So at the 16-minute mark of this game, we are going to have Infestors, Roaches, and Broodlords with Corruptor support. And that is going to be huge, especially based upon the timing. Starting this all at the 16-minute mark, that means that that Nerchio will be able to attack with a very, very potent army sometime around the 19-minute mark if he chooses to. We can see level 2 weapons upgrade already getting completed. And now where is this attack going to be coming from? There are a good amount of Broodlords, 6 Broodlords. The Broodlords I do not believe are upgraded, no, only with armor upgrades. But those Broodlings are in fact upgraded, meaning dropping your kids off at school will deal a lot of damage as one Corruptor gets shot down. Alright, Zerglings, Ultralists, Broodlords now pushing their way in here. Where are they going to be going? All those units are looking to back off again, as they do not want to engage. Fraer does not want to engage a maxed out Zerg army with a lot of energy on those Infestors. Nerchio now moving back over here to the top left-hand side of the map. Zealots are getting in position. Zealots are upgraded 2-0. So they should be able to two-slice and two-hit any of those Zerglings that try to come out, especially the drones, as the drones are simply just all falling. Zerglings now trying to finally come back in. It looks as though the hatchery will stay around for a little while longer. Some of the Zealots are not attacking the hatchery. And oh, it is going to be very close, down to 300 hit points, 200 hit points. And it is down to 173 hit points, but still operational, as Nerchio kind of lucks out on that one. Alright. Another attack in the middle. Once more, Nerchio trying to chase after it, able to get down one Immortal. We should be seeing perhaps some fungal growths. And there is a fungal growth on a couple units there. Not that effective, as the Immortals have all been destroyed. Where can they run? Zerglings once again looking to amass a very large attack. We are sitting at 198 compared to 101. Fraer is in trouble, as the base here is going to be falling in just a moment. Not even going to be operational at all. A lot of Zerglings and some Roaches to follow it up with some Broodlords for the extra long distance. Infestors getting graviton beamed to death, as the Phoenixes are able to attack air to air and able to attack anything it picks up, as the air unit is just generally in the air. Zerglings now trying to test the front door here. Infested Terrans now trying to push in. It looks like the Infested Terrans are upgraded the Zerglings are upgraded 2-2. The Infested Terrans are upgraded 0-2. And there is the GG by Fraer. Fraer, after taking game 1 very convincingly, loses game 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.